Welcome Storm fans. We're here today to preview the 2012 GLIAC Championships for our swimming team. Today I'm joined by our swimming coaching staff. On my left, head coach Nikki Rose, and on my right, assistant coach Mich Azzarello. As you prepare for the championships, can you tell us kind of where team morale sits right now about a week out?
We're actually pretty excited. I think having the opportunity this winter break to train in Florida has been really great. They're definitely very close, very supportive of one another, and kind of the hardest part of the training is behind them. So now they're very excited knowing that it's only going to get easier from here on out. And I think they're really looking forward to having the opportunity to race when they feel good, when they've had a chance to rest, and put up their best times of the season.
So what are kind of final preparations? What do you guys do in the pool, outside the pool, to get ready this final week?
At this point, most of our athletes are no longer lifting weights. The resistance training has really tailed off at this point. We're training fewer hours a day. Our normal schedule was 4 hours a day, and now we're down to anywhere from 2 to even 1 hour per practice session. So a lot of rest at this point. And then also just kind of fine-tuning everything, staying very sharp in the water, working on technique, working on perfection every day. Even though it's less, but doing it absolutely correct every time.
What have you seen from the swimmers in this last week getting ready for the championships?
I think they're definitely getting excited. They're getting pumped up. Like Coach said, they can tell that the yardage just coming down the weight room has been cut out of it right now. They're starting to get a little more energy. They're starting to get just really pumped up and excited for where they're kind of seated and the kind of time drops we're looking for them in the conference meet.
Before we get into some of those seedings and some individual swimmers, in general, this is the second year of the program, so you have a very young squad coming into the GLIAC Championships. How is that sort of an advantage, maybe a disadvantage?
Yeah, I think it's advantageous because they're so excited. This is a new experience for them, so they're really looking forward to that. Our returning athletes that are in their second year, they had a great time last year, and so they've spoken nothing but positive things about the conference championship and our accommodations up there. But kind of the downside is we've got a lot of wild cards. We've got a lot of kids who we haven't had in high-pressure situations. And who have not had a full taper yet. So it's kind of a mystery on both of our ends to see exactly, in my mind, exactly how well they'll do. It's not a matter of whether or not they'll swim faster, it's a matter of how much faster will they swim. Being fast in the morning is a really important aspect for our conference. If you swim your best time at night, that's great, but if you didn't swim fast enough in the morning, you don't get the chance to swim at night. So we're really trying to stress that to them. A lot of the kids have come from an area where they could swim okay in the morning and then come back and have a phenomenal performance at night. But with the GLIAC, that's not really the case. All of our kids have to bring their A game first thing at 10 o'clock in the morning.
So last season in your first GLIAC Championships, you have a couple of girls on the team who scored points and really had some nice performances there. Can you tell me who they are and how you expect those two to build on that?
Yeah, our returning females, Casey Wendell and Lauren Minicucci, both of them scored in 3 individual events at the conference meet last year. Lauren is swimming, I believe, the exact same meet schedule that she did last year, and in 2 of those events is ranked seated right now significantly higher, so that's really exciting. We expect Lauren to either hold that place or kind of move up. Her other event, she's seated a little bit lower, but I think there are 9 girls seated within the same second. So that's going to be a really tight race. And I have no doubts that Lauren will have a huge drop and finish on the top end of that stack. Casey is swimming a slightly different program this year. She did score in all 3 individual races last year, just kind of squeaked in. This year she's seated a little bit lower, but I think Casey will have some really big time drops and move back into the top 16 in each of her events.
So on the men's side, I know there's 2 swimmers in particular who both of you are probably expecting to have some big breakout performances, scoring a lot of points in the event. You can tell me about those 2 guys.
Julian and Ivan are definitely looking at having a great conference meet. Julian is a little more rested at this point. He's going to make his A cut, so he's really focusing on the 400 IM, the 200 breaststroke, and the 200 IM, along with accompanying some of the other guys on relays. Ivan, on the other hand, is still keeping his his distance up in the pool a little bit, and he's still in the weight room with us because he's already made his A cut and already qualified for nationals. Although we still expect both of them to have extremely great conference meet results. They're seated in the top 5 in their events, and we expect some promising things from them next week.
So looking at the entire squad, the men's and the women's, who are some people you expect to have breakout performances, or are some races that we should be watching for?
I think we're really excited about the 400 IM. Both Julian and Ivan are seated in that together on the top. So we've got 2 guys in the top 4. So that should put them in the finals, the final heat that night. But we've also got 2 guys that are seated with kind of mystery times, Nikki Buckle and Nick Brown. And they've not had a chance to swim that event as many times, but I think we'll see huge drops from them. So it'll be a really exciting race in the morning for us to watch. And we're hoping we'll have 2 guys in finals, 2 guys in consoles that night coming back. That would probably be the race that I'm most looking forward to seeing. I think the 200 fly for the men will be another, well, for actually both the men and women. And I should have included also Lauren will be in that 400 IM, so we've got almost half of our team swimming that event, so that's something we're really excited about. The 200 fly also, David and Cole are swimming that, and Casey on the women's side, and that's something I think we can have 3 kids come back at that night and swim again, so that's something I think will be really good. I think both of the guys can have huge drops in that 200 fly, so that'll be pretty interesting just to see where they end up at the end of the season.
I know Mike mentioned a minute ago about 8 cut times at nationals. Maybe for people a little more unfamiliar, can you explain what those 8 cut times mean and transition that into what you guys are looking to do after the GLIAC championships?
Okay. For the national championship, there are A cuts and B cuts. A cuts are an automatic qualification, B cuts are a provisional cut, and depending on the number of athletes that have qualified with A cuts, some B cuts are chosen or invited to the national championship. Ivan right now has obtained 1 A cut in his 200 backstroke. He's still ranked rather high in that event, so that's really great. He has B cuts in his 100 backstroke and the 400 IM, so he should be able, he'll be at the meet swimming the 200 backstroke, but he should also be able to swim those additional 2 swims with B cuts. Julian right now has B cuts in probably close to 5 or 6 events. However, he does not have an A cut, so he's not automatically entered into the meet. We're hoping that he achieves the A cut, so he will be an automatic qualifier to the meet. If he doesn't reach an A cut at the conference championship, which we feel pretty confident that he will, but if he wouldn't, we're just waiting to see how many athletes per event, where his rank is, as to whether or not he'll be invited. So that's really a long waiting game that we would prefer not to play. We're hoping that the young man makes the A cut. I think he's primed and he's ready and very focused at this point, so we're pretty excited. But then our national championship is held a month later, so we'll have about 4 weeks of training for any national qualifiers once we get back to campus following the GLIAC championship.
So finally, I'll ask each of you, what would make next weekend's championships a success in your mind?
I think just seeing all of our athletes do well and meet their goals, and we've been having meetings with them to kind of set where their goals are, where our goals are for them going into this meet. We've been in the water, we've been training since the beginning of September, almost since they've been back to school. So to see them kind of finally in a week get to meet their goals and swim fast, swim tapered, have fun and do well, move up in the standings individually and as a team. All of those I think would fall under the category of making me happy next week and seeing improvements. So.
My goal is for 100% improvement on times, which I think is a little bit crazy, but that I don't think it can't be done. So I'd like to see every single person who swims an event, we have their times listed and we want to see an improvement on that time. Second, I want to set a really high record for the number of medals that we receive. First, second, and third place, relays and individuals will medal this year. So I'd like us to bring back a lot of hardware. I think that would be a really great thing for our second year. And we've got a lot of people that are in the opportunity, that have the opportunity to perform at that level and do so.
Well, we want to remind you that you can get all the latest up-to-date information on the GLIAC Championships at www.lakeeriestorm.com. Nikki, Mike, thanks for joining us, and best of luck at next week's championships.
Thanks. Go Storm.